has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad city, burgundy, the bad apple with a bad attitude, hanging around a bunch of bad, out of bad tape, bad love, bad dude, bad breath, bad attitude, bad vibes. We are live in the Magic City studios in the Ferrall Pleasure. Right across the river to the woods from our granny loves to roll up a fatty Yoda Mendo cushion, New York City. The Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake it up, should do better. I'm up in the come around, flat to party up, rats on the west side, bedbugs uptown, what the best is towns and tattered, my brain splattered all over Manhattan, should do be shake it, ooh, oh, woo, woo. I think I might have caught something from Keith. It's only rock and roll, but I like it, yes I do, but I like it. Hey, what's gigging? I'm Ferrall, along with your boy Carver High this afternoon. Aaron O with Mafia running it. Hayden Fry at LTN in Kansas City. Mo kicking it in on a Thirsty Thursday, a birthday roll call. Willie Cauley-Stein, 29. Bogdanovich, 30. Austin Hedges, 30. Don Terry Poe, 32. Mike James, 32. Evan Gaddis, 36. Dan Orlovsky, 39. Jeremy Shockey, 42. Bart Scott, 42. Luke Fickle, 49. Bobby Hugginson, 52. Richie Cunningham from Happy Days, 52. Brian Mitchell, 54. Kenny Walker, 58. Mike LaValliere, 62. Fat Lever, 62. And Matt Snellberger, 81. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Deshaun Watson of the NFL reached a deal, 11 games and a fine of $5 million. Watson, sorry to everyone again. We'll hear from him, a lot from him, and Jimmy Haslam, the owner. Brown's schedule, their odds. We got afternoon day ball. Your boy, Albert Pujols, has done it again, Carver High. This time a grand slam to hit 690. He is 10 shy of 700. We got the Cubs in Baltimore, Arizona, and San Francisco getting ready to roll, plus the Lions share and Scoop Mish. Craig Mish will join us from Fantasy Sports Today and Newswire this very hour. The Yankees inexplicably beat the Rays in the 10th inning last night on a Josh Donaldson walk-off grand slam to the short porch and right. It was crazy in the boogie down. Aaron Boone on the show. Giancarlo Stanton targeting next week for a return. Jays beat the O's yesterday 6-1. Alejandro Fatso Kirk with a 2-run double. Mariners beat the Angels 11-7. Cal Raleigh, home run, 2 of them in the game for him. And then Padres beat the Marlins 10-3. Jake Cronenworth with a slam Diego. Red Sox beat the Bucks 8-3. Brian Reynolds doesn't give a flying rat's ass what Dennis Eckersley has to say about the Bucks. Cleveland beat Detroit 8-4. Jose Ramirez with a big RBI double in that one. Mets beat the Braves 9-7. Brett Beatty, his first at bat in the majors, a home run, a bomb to right. We'll hear from him. Cards beat the Rockies 5-1, killing them today 12-0. Last night, Brendan Donovan, big RBI double. A's beat the Rangers 7-2. Shea Langeliers again, a home run. This guy's going off. He's been up for a couple days. Astros beat the White Sox 3-2. Chas McCormick, an RBI double. Dodgers beat the Brewers 2-1. Max Muncy, the solo shot. D-backs beat the Giants. We got everything for you. Bryce Harper will start September 1st. That's the plan. We welcome all of our radio affiliates. Sirius XM, Channel 159, Sports Map Radio, Sports Byline USA. And, of course, Mightier 1090. ESPN Radio in San Diego. Near Tijuana, do you wanna? We've got Schwarbaum, could be back tomorrow for the Phillies. Jose Altuve confirms he's going to play in the WBC for Venezuela. Joey Votto, done, rotator cuff surgery. Yanks and Mets, former pitcher Dellin Betances retires. Joe Girardi gets a job in Chicago with the Marquee Network doing broadcasting. MLB umps They're adamant about upholding rules about home plate collisions. Bill Michaels will join us today, the king of Wisconsin, to talk about the Brewers and the Packers. We'll talk Cy Young, MVP, tonight's games in baseball today, and Carver High history. You get all of that. Pete Carroll, sad for Drew Lock that he's got the Honta. He won't play tonight. Bears Seahawks tonight in the Pacific Northwest. We got Matt Rule talking about fights. Baker Mayfield's going to be the starter, it looks like. Joe Burrow not worried about his new deal yet. Jim Irsay happy with Matty Ice. We got Matt LaFleur on the show today. Tua wants to play in the Dolphins preseason game this week, and we'll see if that happens. Colts, Drew Ogletree has a torn ACL, season over. CeeDee Lamb misses practice, a foot injury, not serious. Jeff Okudah back playing well from all of his injuries last year when he was awful, and he looks good now. Maryland gives the Washington Commanders a sports wagering license. They'll have kiosks at their games for the Commanders. Big Ten, how about a 7-year media deal between $7 and $8 billion? Nick Saban says he's very approachable. We'll hear him say that today. Mike Gundy says Oklahoma and Texas took a lot of history out of the Big 12. Gee, you think? Vatek's going to start Marshall, transfer Grant Wells at quarterback. We're going to talk about Kevin Durant again. You had enough of that yet? We'll talk about a Warriors-Celtics finals rematch. Rudy Gobert's return to Utah. Christmas Day schedule. Oregon is not the front runner for Bronny James. How about Ionescu last night? The big upset. The Liberty shocked Chicago in the Windy City. Go with us on Coast to Coast, baby.
The early line.
Donnie, in this AP Top 25, what caught your eye?
Yeah, if we're looking just at, the old guard, right, which particularly pertains to the SEC, Alabama number 1, Georgia number 3, Texas number 6. So 3 teams in the SEC in the top 6. Wouldn't shock us again, Kevin, right? 2 teams out of the Final 4 will end up being from SEC competition. Notre Dame at number 5.
Only on Sports Grid. The morning after.
LSU has the same odds to win the SEC at 100-1 as they do to win a national championship, also 100-1.
Well, I'll say this. There are going to be a lot of really bad takes about year one head coaches and a lot of people jumping to conclusions because there are 8 programs who have played in a national championship in the 21st century who have a first-year head coach. That includes Virginia Tech because technically they played in a national championship in the first week.
The Sports Grid Network. Your heart's racing. The clock's running out. It all comes down to this. We're talking pregame. Pregame. Get locked in with Game Time Decisions. Your hosts, Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, will get you ready for game time. Everything you need to know before a game goes off the board, with the bet slips to back it up. Make your best bet with live odds updates, late breaking news, up-to-the-minute injury reports, and real-time analytics from inside the sportsbooks. All the odds, all the action, from sports wagering insiders and industry pros like Donnie Rightside, Cam Lou, Cousin Sal, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and more. Get the winning edge every weekday afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 4 Pacific. It's Game Time Decisions. Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall, Coast to Coast.
The reality is that what I'm hearing is Flacco's going to play that game against the Ravens in week 1. And I'm just going to put, salt on this. Flacco's better than Zach Wilson anyway. I mean, he's better flat out anyway. All things being equal, he's head and shoulders better than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson sucks. And until
The Sports Grid Network.
There's no better feeling than a win, except a BetMGM win. Oh! Goodbye. Woo! That one hurt good. You feel that? Yeah! Now you're winning with the king of sportsbooks. Come on.
All right, Ferrall back on Coast to Coast. Carver High knows I tell everyone that I meet everywhere, every day, that they need certain things in life, namely the BetMGM app. Really, you may not need your wife or your kids or your, any of that, golf buddies, all that stuff. But you do need the BetMGM app because you can bet $10 on any major league game and win $200 if either team hits a home run. All you have to do is use the bonus code MLB 2022. That's MLB HR 2022. That's the code. $10, any game, 200 clams your way if somebody hits a home run from either team. The BetMGM app, crucial in life. All right, Carver High. Deshaun Watson continues to say he did nothing wrong at all, and that's why he's got an 11-game suspension deal and a fine of $5 million and has to go see a shrink.
Yes, today was finally the day, Scotty, for Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. We now know they reached a settlement, NFL and the PA, 11 games for Watson. It will also includes a $5 million fine that will go to charity. The deal is agreed upon. There are a couple of other things in this deal, Scotty, that have come out in the last hour or so, and that is that his reinstatement is contingent upon compliance with a third-party evaluation and treatment. Now, his reinstatement could be delayed if he fails to comply with those issues. I'm about to play you a couple videos of him. He probably needs to change his tune from these videos if he's going to comply with those things, that's for sure. But that is a little nugget that's in that deal as well.
Well, and it's a nugget that I find to be ridiculous based on the fact that, from experience, I can tell you, when I was younger, I was certainly even crazier than I am now. And I was controversial, shock jock. I've been called everything. But they sent me to a shrink. They were going to fire me, and they said, go to a shrink, and then we'll, see if we change our tune about you. And that just did not end well for them. You put me in a room with a shrink. By the time I was done with him, he was eating peanuts out of a bag and laying on the couch with his feet in the air. I mean, if you're not willing to go and you don't want to be there, it doesn't work. People that go to rehab forced from their parents, that doesn't work either. People that have, all this, we're going to tell you how it's going to be, and you got the criminal or the junkie or the, person with a bad temper or someone that's psychotic, you're going to get them help because you don't like the way they roll. Good luck with that working. This guy still doesn't think he did anything wrong. He continues to tell people he did nothing wrong as he throws out his veiled apologies to women. Yeah. It's such a broad stroke. I apologize to anyone that I affected in this, but I did nothing wrong. It is absolutely laughable, the stuff that comes out of his mouth. Frankly, I think he's an idiot.
Here he is, Scotty, a couple of hours ago, just moments after the 11-game suspension was announced. Says sorry to just about everyone except specifically the women that brought the accusations against him. Here's Deshaun Watson.
I've always stood on my innocence and always said that I've never assaulted anyone or disrespected anyone, and I'm continuing to stand on that. But at the same time, I have to continue to push forward with my life and my career. And for us to be able to move forward, I have to be able to take steps and put pride to the side. And I'm going to continue to stand on my innocence and keep pushing forward. And I've always, stood on not disrespecting or sexual assaulting anyone.
What are you apologizing for then? What are you apologizing for?
For everyone that was affected about this situation. There was a lot of people that was triggered.
But not the women that accused you of this?
I've apologized to all women. So anybody that was affected, even
All
yourself,
women.
everything. So I'm apologizing to everyone that was affected about this whole situation.
So Deshaun, was this more about moving on with your career than contrition from your point of view?
Do you think?
This resolution, the settlements, the disciplinary process, settling that, is that all about just trying to move forward?
Thanks.
Everything.
Thanks for
Just
that
my
question.
whole life, just have to be able to move forward, and that's the plan. You know, I have to be able to move forward with my career, move forward with my family, with my personal life, and everything.
Listen, this is really, it reminds me of Bob Kraft, to be honest with you. If you believe for 1 minute that guy didn't try to get a little action at the massage parlor when they decided, because he has so much goddamn money, that the judge said, we're going to throw out the video of him actually trying to pay off some masseur for giving him a handy, then you're imagining things. Now, this guy had the whole package out and whipping it around the room, and you know it. And then they all took the money and ran. He is not sorry for anything. This is what money gets you. Money gets you an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine, and you got to go see a shrink or go to some kind of therapy that won't work. It will not work. There is nothing worse than forcing someone to go talk to a doctor about their childhood and their mother and father. I mean, this guy started asking me about my mom and dad. By the time I was done with him, I was sleeping with his mother. So let me tell you something. This guy, money gets you out of everything. Instead of jail, he gets $40 million this year to sit home and smoke fat doobies and drink cold Guinness. And then on December 4th, he can play football again. Let's get down to the gist of it, like I usually do.
Here's one more from Watson, Scotty. He says that one day his side of the story will be told. Here's
multi-million-dollar book deal.
Yes. Here's Watson.
You're going to take a lot of heat for I stand on my innocence. I mean, I'm already seeing it all over social media. So, what is going to be your response to that when the world comes down on you for standing on your innocence throughout this process?
Well, I have to do what's best for Deshaun Watson at the end of the day. And I know what happened. I was in those situations, but I have to continue to push forward.
Call
and keep moving
Talib's
forward.
brother. He'll handle it for you.
I feel like through this whole process, we've been trying to tell my side of the story. But a lot of people wasn't able to or didn't really pay too much attention to it. But one day we will. Only time will tell. And, like I said before, just continue to keep being the person I am, keep showing the community how good of a human being I am. Have I always been, how I was raised. And I just want to continue to show that and, keep pushing forward.
I mean, this is like a porno. Like Deshaun Stallions or something. I mean, he's going to come out with a porno about how many women he tagged when he was hopping from masseur to masseur, working an angle on all of them. Does anyone really find themselves gullible enough to believe a word that comes out of this brother's mouth? I mean, honestly, I'm just, you know what? I'm too cool or something because I'm not falling for any of his crap. I mean, honestly, this guy ain't fooling me 1 minute. He did it. That's it. He knows he did it. And then is there anything worse than the guy that everybody knows did it and he still keeps lying through his teeth? It reminds me of a child that just keeps lying through his teeth. I remember when I was a little kid, I broke into a house with my buddies and we partied while they were on vacation for 2 weeks. And we just kept saying, all I remember is I never broke. I kept saying, I was never there. I was never there. I was never there. I was never there. My dad said, you're lying. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I was never there. And then my buddy broke and said, I was there with Ferrall. And I go, oh, I'm going to beat your ass, you narc. All right, I did it. And then my dad beat me with a wooden fraternity paddle, 100 whacks till my ass bled. Never break. He's like the guy that just keeps saying he never did it. I never did anything. I never did anything. I never did anything. You'll hear my side one day when I come out with my new porno and my new novel. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm sick and tired of this guy. Just lap him in with the rest of the people I can't stand talking about. Kevin Durant's another one. Aaron Rodgers is another one. Throw him in there, Carver High. Put him in the bin.
Well, look, we're at the point now that we know what it is he's going to be gone for a while. Later on, we'll hear from Jimmy Haslam, Scotty, the owner of the Browns. We'll get Jimmy's take on that.
He's another one. He's another striker.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
People are going to the betting window and betting them now before the trade takes place.
How dare they do what's fiscally responsible? See how it plays out. Buffalo's going all in right
Football
now.
full circle.
All their chips in the middle of the table. It's do or die for them.
And Godwin being out, they've had a little bit of a shakeup.
In-game live all access.
You could take the points. You could take the money line. And
we had to go to San Jose too. Maybe a small play on San Jose. I'm gonna go both underdogs here. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Wow. In-game
Phillies
live.
here,
Prime
minus
time.
128. You do have to lay up a little bit of wood here, Donnie, but I think against Patrick Corbin.
But boy, you want to give me 8.5 points with a desperate team facing
Get
elimination.
the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Maurice Allen, 2015-2016 European Long Drive Tour champion, 2017 world number 1. Me personally, I keep my game face on me all the time. Especially coming out of the bunker, leaving the range, or even leaving the course. What's your story?
Fantasy Sports Today.
Definitely a starter in every fantasy football league. He's a top 12 quarterback in fantasy, but no longer the thought process where I guess he could be a number 2, the second overall quarterback or the third. Remember, in years past, he was being drafted right after the first couple of quarterbacks, but no longer the case. He's kind of like a consolation prize as opposed to the main starter for a lot of people.
The Sports Grid Network. The early line.
Can Cease become the favorite in this market by the result of this baseball game?
I don't think so, because we have to remind ourselves, this isn't, Dylan Cease pitching to Justin Verlander, and that's the head-to-head matchup, and who wins it gets the title belts, right? I mean, that's not the way it works here. You actually are taking a look at this game saying, how is Verlander going to do up against that Chicago White Sox lineup? How is Cease going to do against that Astros lineup?
Only on Sports Grid. Diamond Bets.
Fernando Tatis Jr. getting popped for a PED suspension for 80 games. Now, I know performance-enhancing drugs are something that, even here at the network, they encourage us, especially myself. They say, please, can you enhance your performance just a little bit more, Joe? This year, it's not going to happen next year for a good chunk of the season. And guess what? This is more important now that you added Juan Soto. So obviously this news rocked Major League Baseball.
Only on Sports Grid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
All right, Carver High. Brewers up 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth on the Dodgers. Cardinals 12-0, top 7 over the Rockies in Busch. Rangers 4-2 over the A's. Top of the fifth in Arlington. Astros 4-0 on the south side of Chicago over the White Sox. Bottom 3, Cubs, Orioles. After 1, scoreless at Camden in a makeup game from June 8th.
Yes, 2 homers for Andrew McCutchen, Scotty, for the Brewers this afternoon. So tater time and a grand slam, like you mentioned before, from Albert Pujols. Now 10 away from 700 as he's got about 5.5 weeks, 5.5, 6 weeks to try to clear that hurdle and get to 7 before he retires at the end of the season. But it is time, Scotty, of course, for the Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM. Now, I'm pretty sure that you bought another boat. There was another boat that you purchased just for the prop boat. You were tired of just the one with the 5 or the 6 engines. You couldn't get that one started maybe, so you bought a backup boat, which we are going to effort at some point to give to you here on Coast to Coast today, Scotty. I will get you a boat at some point.
It's because, we hit so many blue marlins and so many gigantic fish that we snagged with our picks that we had to get a deep-sea vessel.
Well, this is the deep-sea vessel. There it is right there as you push off
Look at
the
us
water.
blowing by people in the inlet Just breaking all kinds of water laws. Look at us just violating speed limits.
Tremendous job. The new prop boat that we have in reserve in case something goes wrong.
I like
Didn't
the
go
flag
wrong
you
last
put on
night.
the roof.
Good night all around. Scherzer got over for us. Gonsolin. Valdez again was over. The only K prop that let us down was Rodon, who did end up going over the 7.5 against the Diamondbacks. We need some taters tonight to get back in the mix with that. All right, let's do the strikeouts first. I'm going back to our boy, Ice Cold Brubaker. I know that he gets beat around, Scotty, and he gives up a lot of runs, but he's been good to us with the strikeout props. It's 4.5 again tonight, minus 115 to the over. He's over 4.5 in 6 of his last 8 starts. He may give up some homers, which I'm going to talk about when we get to the taters, but I still think he can get 5 or more strikeouts tonight against the Sox.
Yeah, I'll give him 5. Why not? I mean, he strikes out guys and he loses. That's what he does. He gets outs, but he loses. And they lose frequently, like, every night.
Well, that's the beauty of getting involved with the K-props on the line share. We don't necessarily care if you win or lose as long as you get over the strikeout prop. That's all that matters to us. Next, we will go to Jacob deGrom tonight down in Atlanta against the Braves, Scotty. How about this heavy number? 9.5 for deGrom tonight. Plus 115 to the over, minus 160 to the under. His last 2 starts, 10 strikeouts and 12 strikeouts. Oh, by the way, the 12, that was against the Braves 2 starts ago, Scotty. So he's already got some double-digit numbers against him since coming back. I think this is a little too much for me, though. This might be a little too much for me tonight. Could be some rain tonight in Atlanta. Could get delays. They might not push him going back in and out. I might stay away from deGrom tonight.
I mean, fair enough, but if they play, I'm going over because this guy is absolutely dirty. He's so filthy. I mean, he is just covered in it. Literally, no one can hit him. No one can hit him. He doesn't give up any runs. He doesn't give up hits. He takes perfect games into the 6th inning. The guy strikes out everybody that comes up. I'll go over.
Next, we're going to stay in Atlanta and go to the other side. Max Fried is coming back. Remember, he was on that 7-day concussion IL, Scotty. 4.5 is the number for Fried, minus 145 to the over, plus 100 to the under. He is over 4.5 in 4 of his last 5 starts, including going over twice against the Mets during that span. Barely over. Had 5 in both starts against the Mets.
I'll go over again. I think he's one of their best pitchers, and I think they're both going to put on a show. Same thing with Strider and Wright, and this guy Fried, every time he goes out, he performs. Now, I am concerned a little bit that his noggin got rocked, and he may not, in the heat, feel well. Guys get, nauseous, lightheaded. Lights affect you. You're pitching at night. Those lights, it might not be his night, but I'm willing to go over because I think that number's so low. He's a badass.
I'm going over as well for Max tonight. Final K prop, we have Yu Darvish tonight for the Padres out at Petco against the lowly Nationals who come to town. 6.5 is the number, minus 105 to the over, minus 135 to the under. He faced the Nationals last week, Scotty, had 9 strikeouts, but did lose the game. So he did get a lot of strikeouts, including that start. He's over in 5 of his last 6 this total. I'm going over again tonight for you.
I mean, I'm over. He'll have that by the 4th inning.
Your boy Yu Darvish tonight, the late night game out at Petco with the soft serve ice cream. Make sure you get yourself a helmet full while you're at the game tonight if you're going. It is tater time, Scotty, for the lion's share. And let's go back to Pittsburgh. Yes, we like Ice Cold Brubaker to get 5 strikeouts tonight, but what else does he do, Scotty? He gives up bombs. So let's go to Rafael Devers and the Red Sox, plus 240 to hit a homer at PNC tonight against Brubaker.
I mean, this guy's turned into, like, Judge, as far as I'm concerned, with his at-bats. It's all or nothing. It's like he hits so many home runs, and, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I see him hitting all these home runs against the Yankees, so I think he just hits home runs. I think he'll hit one against the Pirates tonight into the river.
Let's go. Next, we're going to go to the Royals. Now, I've been following this guy a little bit in the past 2 weeks. I've hit him twice, Scotty, on my own, and that's Vinny P. Vinny Pasquantino He's got 5 homers in his last 9 games for the Royals. Plus 350 tonight, down at the Trop against the Rays. I'm going for Vinny P tonight again to make it 6 in 10 games.
I'm going to say no. I hope you're right, though, because I know there is footage of him going into the shoe store near Merrick.
There is. Well, listen, stay away from that shoe store, or else your boy Sal the Shoe Man is going to take care of business for you over there. All right, next we will go to the Bronx. Big 4-game series, Yankees and the Jays, starts tonight. We're going to start with Anthony Rizzo, Scotty, because he had a tater last night against the Rays. He's got 3 homers against the Jays this year, but more importantly, I'm looking at Berrios, Scotty. 26 homers he's allowed this year for Toronto. Let's go with Rizzo, and I'm sure you might want to sprinkle in maybe a little bit of Judge tonight, who hasn't had a homer in almost a week now against the Sox.
Yeah, I think Judge is going to hit one. I don't think Rizzo is, but I hope he does. He hit one last night. I worry about his back. Number 28 last night. If I could cash right now the season for him, just cash in, I'd be like, this guy was great. Bring him back. I love Anthony Rizzo on the Yankees. A pure left-handed hitter that hits into that porch so easily. Just a fly ball turns into a home run. Honestly, he is the perfect hitter for that ballpark.
And we'll stay in the Bronx, Scotty. A little double dip for us there tonight because I am expecting a lot of runs. And Vlad always eats in the Bronx. You know that, Scotty. Vlad Guerrero Jr., whenever he goes, it doesn't matter who's pitching, he usually bashes the Yankees. Plus 325 for him to get the series started tonight with a dinger.
Yeah, I like that. And I'll sprinkle in Chapman. And I might not even stop there. I got to look because it's just the Yankees have just looked so terrible lately. They've been just getting poured on with runs and home runs. I mean, guys just destroying them. A Rosarena. So I think the Jays are going to hit more than just a Vladi home run tonight. I'll give Chapman a sprinkle.
Maybe we get Springer involved, too. I know that he didn't have a rest day yesterday, came in and got a hit. Springer usually does pretty well in the Bronx as well. So Jays and Yanks tonight, Scotty. We're looking for a lot of runs. We'll come back to that in a moment with the game props. First, for the game props, we'll go back to Atlanta. Mets to win tonight with DeGrom on the mound and under 7.5 runs scored in the game, plus 225. Mets to win. With DeGrom, they beat Fried under 7.5, plus 225.
Yeah, I love that bet. Nobody's scoring runs on DeGrom. I don't care what anybody says, so I'm all in there.
Next, we will go to the Padres having the Nationals come out to Petco. Padres win and over the 8.5 tonight. Maybe they can clear it by themselves against the Nats, Scotty, at home. Plus 155. They did bust out the bats yesterday before they left Miami, finally, after losing the first 2 down there to the Fish. We'll see if they can continue that tonight against the Nats.
I mean, this is another hit right here because the Nationals are like, they should be playing in Williamsport, okay? So they're just going to serve it up, and the Padres are going to rack up some numbers.
And finally, racking up numbers, we're going with the home run props for both the Jays and the Yankees tonight. So why not get them both to score a ton of runs, Scotty? Yankees and the Jays, both to score 4 or more runs tonight at plus 210. Maybe the Yankee bats are awake after the Donaldson walk-off grand slam last night.
I mean, I think so. Berrios, 5.6. Montas gives up 3.5, 4 runs a game. I think so. Montas had 1 good start, 1 bad start. He's going to give up some runs tonight to that Jays team. They're tough.
So there you go. The lion's share, Scotty, for a Thursday night brought to you by BetMGM. You mentioned before, Rangers now lead the A's 4-2. Astros 5-0 over the White Sox. That is in the top of the 4th inning. They are about to start in San Francisco, Scotty. Diamondbacks and the Giants. Logan Webb going for the Giants today. They're about 10 minutes from first pitch.
Yeah, I'm on San Francisco. They've been hot, so I'm going to keep going there.
There you go, the lion's share.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM. The morning after.
LSU has the same odds to win the SEC at 100-1 as they do to win a national championship, also 100-1.
Well, I'll say this. There are going to be a lot of really bad takes about year one head coaches, and a lot of people jumping to conclusions because there are 8 programs who have played in a national championship in the 21st century who have a first-year head coach. That includes Virginia Tech, because technically they played in a national championship in the first week.
The Sports Grid Network. Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
They play less games.
The early line.
Take a look at the top 4 seeds here in the Big Ten. They're going to play
Aaron
less.
Rodgers and
the morning
Russell
after.
Wilson. We saw movement in the marketplace like
Fantasy Sports
the
Today.
Cleveland Cavaliers are a little thin as well.
Newswire.
Minus 160 favorite on the money line today for Arizona.
Pharrell Coast to
PBG,
Coast.
that's where they win cups. They win Stanley Cups over there. Give me the
Game
Penguins.
time decisions.
Kind of bizarre when you consider everybody is out for the Warriors.
In-game live,
I
all
like
access.
Vandy. I like Vandy against Bama. I think Vandy could win the game, take a 4.5.
In-game live, prime time. In-game live, overtime.
All done before the final bet.
Get the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid. The early line.
And if we just take a look at the rushing numbers, right, 1,100 yards is the benchmark for us. Well, last year as a rookie, Kevin, we just talked about Dalvin Cook. He can never stay healthy. How about a rookie playing all 17 weeks last year with Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers? How about him getting 307 rushing attempts as a rookie? I thought we were led to believe also the Pittsburgh Steelers where, yeah, we're about winning games, but we don't just hand things over to guys that get drafted and are drafted
Only
high.
on Sports Grid. Fantasy Sports Today.
Ezekiel Elliott declines even more and loses, let's say, 15% of the touchdowns and of the yards. He's being drafted way too high in fantasy this year.
I mean, I guess Ezekiel Elliott's supporters will point out, well, before he suffered the injury last year, sprained, I want to say his MCL, but I'm not, don't remember specifically, but it was a knee injury. Before the injury, yes, he was good, but it was 4 games into the season.
The Sports Grid Network.
All right, Ferrall back on Coast to Coast. Craig Mish is our baseball insider on Coast to Coast. You can catch him on Fantasy Sports Today and Newswire on Sports Grid TV, and right here every week on this puppy. All right, Craig, let's start off with this. I told you this off air, but I got to tell you on air as well, equally in concert with that thinking. I thought you were fabulous on the Captain finale. You were all over that episode. You were like acting all coy, like it was just, there might be an appearance on there, just a brief snippet of someone you might recognize. Meanwhile, you were on like the entire show, and I just thought you were terrific. And I thought it was great for you and great for Sports Grid and our audience to know how deep you are in baseball circles. Great job.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your message, too. I appreciated that on the night of the show. I didn't know. I'm being honest with you. I did not know that I would be in there as much as I had. I had a feeling that I would be in there, but again, when it comes down to these sort of things, you never know how editing can go. And I think I talked about with you a little bit last week. I interviewed for almost 4.5 hours in content. And so I was happy that a little bit of it made it for sure. And then the coolest part for me, Scott, was you probably didn't catch this, but at the end, in the credits,
right?
generally Okay, yeah. So the way that the 7 episodes go in The Captain is that at the end they have these like sort of candid shots of the people who were
Right.
interviewed, and the first one was me. So yeah, that was
Yeah,
exciting.
I saw that. I thought look, obviously I'm a homer for the Yankees, but I think it was well done, well produced, well directed. I thought it was the music was great. I thought the graphics were great. I thought the beginning of the show always with the music and the end of the show with all the people that were on it with shots of them. I just thought they did a magnificent job with it, whether you like the Yankees or not. I just thought it was really well done. And, I've been in movies before, right? In Hollywood, a couple of them. And I shot for hours and 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 hours. And then they always would tell me at the craft table with all the food, don't worry about it, kid. It's probably going to get cut out on the editing floor. And you probably will barely be in a movie. So when you do that and they don't like throw you to the wolves and you actually become a huge part of the piece, it's a great thing. I was really proud of you, and I'm a big fan of yours, as you know. So
I appreciate it. You should have the director on.
I mean, I should. I've had a lot of these guys on
here. He knows you.
Pardon me?
He knows you for sure. You should have him on. I'll get Mafia the info.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like, we've had a lot of doc guys on over the years. I love these things. I think they're fabulous, and I just thought you knocked it out of the park for sure.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the Texas Rangers. The way they handled their firings this week, the whole front office, the manager. What did you think of the way they did it? I mean, sometimes you just got to cut the fat.
Yeah, it seems like they definitely knew that they were going to do this. They just didn't do it all in one day. And Scott, I'm not really sure the reason for that. Look, Chris Woodward is a respected former player and a respected manager. But I think at the end of the day, Scott, no one is going to look at Chris Woodward and say, like, wow, like that's shocking. Like he just really, they didn't win a lot of games with him as manager of the Texas Rangers. They won a lot more games with Ron Washington, if you remember, as manager of the Texas Rangers before that. And then he, had some trouble, but is doing a fantastic job with the Atlanta Braves. I think he's one of the main reasons the Braves have one of the best defenses in the National League. But the Daniels thing, it seems a little surprising only because he really helped build them back to prominence when the Rangers were just an out away from winning the World Series. So, Scott, he's very well respected. And look, in the end, was he a little desperate? I mean, what do you think, Scott? I don't know. I mean, the owner said, go spend $500 million of my money. And he signed 2 guys. They won nothing. So I think that's what ended up costing him in the end. I'm speaking about Seager and Simeon at short and second base. When Scott, when you sign those kind of contracts and you finish last, it's going to end up being a problem. And I think that's what happened with John Daniels.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And I also think that when I spend that kind of money on a team, which is what the owner did, and there's no results, then heads will roll. I mean, that's kind of the George Steinbrenner way, isn't it? Like, I'm going to spend more than anyone in baseball, and you're either going to win or I'll fire you 5 times. I mean, he's done it so many times that is the way you run professional sports franchises, in my opinion. I do not agree with anyone that thinks letting these NBA players run these teams and push these GMs and coaches around and owners like this Durant and Irving have done to the Nets. Right. I'm not having it. I've said this over and over and over. I'll get rid of you. I'll trade you to Siberia. I mean, I am done with the inmates run the asylum. You either produce if I spend that kind of money or you're toast. Do you think that Albert Pujols, with what he's doing, today hit a grand slam and it's 690. Carver High and I have a lot of action riding on if he'll get to 700 before the season ends. You got about 5 weeks left. Do you think he can hit 10 more the way he's been on the pace he's been carrying?
Yeah, he still has to hit, I think, 2 more before the end of the month to have a legitimate shot. They're going to play a couple games into October. So it's funny, that game that you're playing, Scott, almost tells me to a degree, I don't know what kind of odds you have, that, like, are you sort of rooting against? I think you kind of have to root against the Cardinals then in the last month of the season because he's not an everyday player. And if they need crucial wins down the stretch, I don't know that he's going to be in the lineup every day. Now, he is playing virtually against every left-handed pitcher, that is for sure. But I think that if I would, I mean, listen, it's hard for me because I root for the Cardinals. I hope they win. They're a great franchise. They're constantly churning their roster and winning every single year. But I think for your purposes, if they enter like going into the last week of the season and need to beat out Milwaukee for the division, I think that's going to hurt you. And I don't think Pujols is going to play. But obviously, his last week he's dialed it back to like 2002. So he has I didn't think he had any chance at all. I'd probably put the percentages at about 30%. That's what it feels like right now.
He's hit 3 in the last week, and today the grand slam, and they're up 13-0. By the way, Charlie Blackmon got injured in that game. Looks like a leg injury, what I'm seeing. All right, I want to talk to you about the Mets and Phillies this weekend. My buddy's going to all the games from here in New York City. I go down there a lot with him to Phillies games. I like going to baseball games, and I'll travel to do it. I'll go anywhere. Let's go. So he's going to that series. I think it's going to be magnificent. And I think the Mets-Braves series has been equally as magnificent. The games have been great. That was wild last night, 9-7. Scherzer did his thing. And then, very few people were on that over. I'll tell you that much with those two pitchers going. But it went to 16 runs, whatever it was. When you look at it, Craig, tell me what you think, Scoop. If which series would be better in the playoffs, the Braves or the Phillies for the Mets? Because I think both of them are going to give them problems.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, the latest projections, Scott, have, if I'm right, Atlanta plays Philly, right, in the wild card. Like, I think that's the way that this has got to play out, right, at this point. I mean, I don't know. I'm torn here because I got guys on both teams that I like. The Phillies feel like a team that's probably playing a little bit better than we expected. So when they get to that scenario, I do think that Atlanta, with the experience of winning the World Series and having maybe a little bit more pitching, I think probably would be the team that I would not want to face if I was the Mets. I mean, Atlanta has been there before. They've gotten hot at this time of the year. But that Philly lineup, I mean, with Harper back next week or the week after, all of a sudden, look, top to bottom, Philly's lineup may be better than the Braves. But the Phillies feel like they've played a little bit over their head to me. But I do think that they will make it.
So you got Strider, you got Wright, you got Fried, you got the Fisherman, Charlie Morton. That is very impressive. How impressive do you think the Phillies are with Thor in that rotation with Wheeler, Nola, and it goes on and on, Gibson, Suarez? Obviously, those two probably aren't starting in the postseason, but is it that much better than the Phillies?
I would say that probably as a staff, as a whole, the Braves staff is probably not as good as 1 and 2 of Philly. But I think from 3 on down, I do think Atlanta's better. And remember, some of those starting pitchers that are not going to start for the Braves are going to be coming out of the bullpen in a series like that in the wild card. So I still do lean Atlanta in that spot. And then the other thing that you got to really think about, Scott, is that for whatever reason, Ronald Acuna Jr. has just not gotten going yet. And what if that guy gets going? And Ozzie Albies is coming back for them too. So I just think Atlanta has a shot not only to beat Philly, but clearly has a chance to beat the Mets. They imposed their will in the first 2 games in the series. The Mets look like they're going to be able to just, ride this down to the end and salt away the division. But it'll be a very interesting dynamic when those 2 teams play against each other. 3 teams in the NL East, really good this year.
What do you think of the job they've done in Hot Town with these contracts that they've knocked out and got out of the way with Riley, and now this kid this week they gave $80 million to? All their talent, they're locking up with these deals. I got to tell you, I think they fleeced Riley. I think he's better than the money that they gave him. I think that kid, if he waited, would have been worth, in my opinion, I swear to God, I think he'd be worth another 50 to 100 million.
Yeah. See, the thing, Scott, that's interesting, Riley and Harris, I don't know them that well personally, but I've come now to cover baseball long enough to know that I sort of, Scott, stopped questioning these early contracts that are signed because, Scott, we just do not know the personal situations of these people. And who am I to tell Michael Harris that you should wait to sign your Byron Buxton contract, your 5 for 100, but don't do the 8 for 72 right now? like that's going to change his life. And I don't know where he comes from or what kind of money he needs. And I always remember that Altuve contract, Scott, that was signed years ago. And Altuve talking about just how poor his family was. And, people ragged on him for signing a contract too early. But he really needed the money and he wanted to take care of himself and his family forever. So I'm sort of done questioning those contracts because I think it's just up to the individual at this point.
What do you think of Pedro Martinez's comments, and what do you think the future holds for Tatis Jr.?
It'll be rough for Tatis for about a year, and then provided the Padres get back on track and next year chase a World Series down, I think everybody will forgive. But as of right now, oh boy, I do not want to be standing in his shoes right now. The other thing that never gets talked about a lot, Scott, is that when he signed his long-term contract with the Padres, he had some insurance policy or some other company that paid him before he got to the big leagues as well. It just seems like a lot of stuff is sort of piling up and in on him. But until he speaks to the team, which I guess is going to happen in the next few days, I think then we'll get a better sense as to his contrition for what it looks like an honest mistake. But until he admits that he made a mistake and tells his teammates that, it's still kind of rough.
Do you think those same teammates that turned on him will reverse course?
If they win, yes. But what I know about the Padres, Scott, is the last 2 years they're falling down the stretch, and they're doing it again now. So they better start winning without him.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Can you fathom them blowing it again?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen to your boy, Scoop. All right. Hey, Craig, again, great job on the Captain documentary. Fabulous stuff. Always good to see you. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week, buddy.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
I don't care if they play this game in Puerto Rico. I mean, the bottom line is, it doesn't matter Seattle or Anaheim. Robbie Ray's stuff has been beautiful all season long. He's gotten stronger. He's led the majors in innings, the last 2-3 years. The guy's an inning eater. He's going to go out and do his job. He's going to go out and get into the 7th inning tonight, and he's going to strike out and go over. He's going to get another 9 or 10 tonight.
The Sports Grid Network. The Early Line.
Donnie, in this AP Top 25, what caught your eye?
Yeah, if we're looking just at, the old guard, right, which particularly pertains to the SEC, Alabama number 1, Georgia number 3, Texas number 6. So 3 teams in the SEC in the top 6. Wouldn't shock us again, Kevin, right? 2 teams out of the Final 4 will end up being from SEC competition. Notre Dame at number 5.
Only on Sports Grid.
Pro Football Doc has found its new home right here with Sports Injury Central. And with that comes our expansion into other sports. Sports Injury Central will give you nonstop exclusive injury analysis from experienced team doctors from all 3 major sports. Doctors with resumes that include teams like the Chicago Bulls, the Texas Rangers, and the LA Chargers. So gain a fantasy, DFS, and betting edge right now for free at SICScore.com.
The morning after.
Well, the Niners have a better overall year than those 2 other teams, being the Jags and the Jets.
What's funny is I think you'd get a lot of people, though you make a good point about where the number would sit. I think you'd get a lot of people to bet the Niners. I'm high on the Niners. I still would take the combination. I'm low on the Jets. I know I'm probably walking into a real bad trap here, and I'm going to live with it. I am very optimistic about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
Definitely a starter in every fantasy football league. He's a top 12 quarterback in fantasy, but no longer the thought process where I guess he could be a number 2, the 2nd overall quarterback or the 3rd. Remember in years past he was being drafted right after the first couple of quarterbacks, but no longer the case. He's kind of like a consolation prize as opposed to the main starter for a lot of people.
The Sports Grid Network. Diamond Bets.
Fernando Tatis Jr. getting popped for a PED suspension for 80 games. Now, I know performance-enhancing drugs are something that, even here at the network, they encourage us, especially myself. They say, please, can you enhance your performance just a little bit more, Joe? This year, it's not going to happen next year for a good chunk of the season. And guess what? This is more important now that you added Juan Soto. So obviously this news rocked Major League Baseball.
Only on Sports Grid.
Well, Carver Hyde, just so you know, the teams I was on today were the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Rangers. I was on the White Sox. They're bent over 10-0 right now. They're losing. And I took the Orioles. What are the updates you got for me of these day games? And Carver Hyde, that Mafia documents those picks, obviously. I'm not making them up as we go.
Yes. Well, look, once again, we were day late, dollar short on a guy. Bregman just hit a homer for the Astros. They've scored 6 runs in the 4th inning. And they now lead the White Sox 10-0, like you were saying, just beating them around. The Brewers now lead the Dodgers 5-0, scoreless in Baltimore. And they are now underway, Scotty, in San Francisco between the Giants and the Diamondbacks as they are getting going there in that one. And also, we've got the golf going right now, too, Scotty. We have several plays for round 1 that are in the balance right now. We did already cash a winner with Mr. Burns over Tony Finau, as Finau had a very bad day. And now we have Scotty Scheffler against Willie Z, and we have Wyndham the Butler Clark going up against your boy Smalley today, the last twosome that got out. And our leader, Keegan Bradley. Always bet on Keegan Bradley in tournaments that are in the Northeast, I guess, Scotty. Every time you play these tournaments in the Northeast, Keegan Bradley shows up. But we gave you Varner yesterday, and he's in second place right now. He is in the mix.
HV3, son.
HV3 is going. We will come back at the top of the hour, hour number 2 on Coast to Coast, and we will finish off the rest of the Watson stuff, Scotty. Jimmy Haslam, the wife Dee, the general manager, they all talked right after Watson today. They're going to lie to you. And then we'll get into the Browns' schedule, what games he's actually going to play, their totals. We got baseball to do, a lot left to go on Coast to Coast, of course.
So, do you think they go after Jimmy G? Because they keep saying they're just so happy with Brissett. I just don't buy that. They're going to lose.
If the Niners release him and it costs them absolutely zero, they will bring him in, I believe, absolutely.
But no trade.